right, Cancer, this one is for you. Hi, welcome. This is Tarot Lumination with your September 2017 Love and Relationship Report. That's for you, Cancer. We're going to use a crucible spread. It's on the understanding that we're doing these reports for people who are more like in relationship in some way or other already. A lot of people have been asking about reports for singles, specifically for singles. And at the moment, we haven't really done that yet. Never done it on this channel. So we might be starting to do it down the road, but it'll take a while. We're just trying to keep the channel going at the moment. Okay, Cancer? So you know the drill. You've done this before. Watch for your sun, your moon, and your rising and squish it all together. And then reinterpret as you will to make it your own story, okay? We're just reading this as broad general energy for everyone, okay? So there's no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles here. It's just bare bones, stripped down tarot. There's no reversals, nothing, okay? We're just going to tell a story. Let the story tell itself. Let's put it that way. So here we go. You know it's the new moon eclipses. We're still dealing with that coming through September. So I hope you got it. Got it together, so to speak. All right, let's have a look. Here's you, okay? All right, Cancer? Here is a significant other, a person of choice, okay? A person of interest, a chosen relationship, okay? Or it might be something that feels very fated or karmic or whatever you want to call it. Twin flame, soulmate, whatever it is. It's some kind of significant relationship dynamic for you. All right, Cancer? So that's you. That's the other. And this would be deeper inside of you. This will be deeper inside the other. Deeper inside another. And here's the energy of the relationship itself. Okay? And here is, well, let's, hold on. Okay, we didn't have a big, long introduction playlist video for this playlist. I might find it and put it out there, but for now, please understand that this reading is done with what I call a crucible spread, where there's your energy, there's their energy, but there's the energy of the relationship itself, where it's an understanding that the relationship has its own identity, its own structure. That is not you, it's not the other. It's a separate thing that has its own identity, structure, meaning, purpose, and so on. And in a healthy relationship, the two parties would honor that. They would honor and love themselves and live through the relationship as opposed to head-on, face-to-face direct. Because in a healthy relationship, it's understood that you invest in each other. It's like, what can I bring to you? Oh, well, I was going to ask, what can I bring to you? Instead of, what can I get out of you? And what are you trying to get out of me? It's a very different scenario, but it sometimes looks the same from the outside. Anyway, here is the momentum coming through September, okay, for the relationship itself. And we're going to look at the bottom card here in just a moment, indicating like this. I think of it as the weather. It's energy that permeates the whole situation, relationship, whatever you want to call it. And it's up to you, Cancer, to make the best of it. And you know, sometimes people are living at the mercy of the weather. In other words, if it's a horrible day, they feel horrible. If it's a beautiful day, they feel great. Instead of owning their own happiness from the inside out, where it doesn't matter what the weather is, you find a way to make the best of it anyway. So let's have a look. Wow. You got the Fool card, Cancer. So it's almost like you're getting a tap on the shoulder. Excuse me, Cancer, by the way. We want to let you know I am the Fool, and I'm one of the high-powered spirit guides here to let you know you can do whatever you have to do, however you want to do it, in order for you to evolve through September. You have full permission to go completely berserk if you want, if you have to, and do it hopefully in a joyful way on the understanding that you're guided and protected, okay? Just letting you know, okay, Cancer? There you go. So have fun. Just go wild, go crazy, or whatever you have to do. It's that kind of weather. It's very inspiring. It's very, very liberating. And it could be daunting. It could be overpowering. You know, sometimes when you go start off on a journey and you kind of get to the first leg of the destination and you realize, oh my gosh, what the heck have we done? What are we doing here? And you start to look out at the landscape and the new horizons in front of you, and it's much more wild and woolly and crazy and daunting and exciting and terrifying than you ever imagined. But you go for it anyway, okay? There's no going back, Cancer, with these eclipse energies starting to unfold now here through September, especially this time of the year. August was a significant calendar moment, but we're all in the same bus and we're all evolving together, and you're turning into Cancer Mark II. Now we're doing that in the context of relationship. Let's have a look. Okay, well, you're doing a good job, okay? You're taking everything that you've got, all of your best skills, your best talents, your best awareness, your best understandings of how life works in three-dimensional form, okay? In other words, you know, you're through your senses, what you can hold on to, what you would call three-dimensional life. There's you, Cancer, doing a super job of keeping it together, or at least trying to keep it together, because you might actually be feeling very, very wobbly at the moment. And it's okay, you know, because there's a lot of big shifts and changes that have happened recently. And it's affecting everybody, and you as well, Cancer. So in the context of relationship, there might be a tremendous amount of emotional, let's say, interaction of like what would feel to you like waves of energy, typically just like the little picture here, where 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down. Deep senses of intimacy, deep senses of separation, deep awareness that you are in a state of balancing. It's not necessarily that you are balanced, but you are balancing things out, trying to handle these like shifts, huge shifts in tectonic plates of what's happening in your life, in your world, especially in relationships. Now, so I was going to revert back to the eclipse energy, but I'm trying not to do an astrology reading. The thing is, with the eclipse energy, it's very powerful Leo energy, and it's in your second house of value, values, self-worth, and your gifts and talents. And so in the context of this relationship, you might be getting triggered to a much greater awareness than ever before about where your gifts and talents may lie. And the struggle is, who am I really? What am I doing with all this stuff? What are my gifts? What are my talents? What am I going to do with them? Because they're being exposed in the context of relationship. Now, what I'm feeling here is we're talking about, typically this would be an intimate love relationship type of dynamic, but I have a feeling this is affecting you on a grand scale, where your relationship dynamic is affecting your whole sense of self-worth to the greater world at large around you, not just inside the internal structure of the relationship. Here, can you see this as a crucible? I forgot to say that earlier. We do this spread, I call it the crucibles, a little mini crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, okay, doing the best you can be to be Cancer, and there's another just being who they are. And in a really loving, healthy relationship, you would love each other and appreciate each other through a very conscious, deliberate awareness that you have a relationship. This energy here, and there's your energy, there's their energy, but there's the energy of the relationship itself, which has an identity and a structure of its own, which both of you would honor and respect and nurture. Okay, so let's keep going on that understanding. So we haven't got there yet, but we're going to feel it in a little while here. Let's have a look at the other. Oh my gosh. I have to say something, Cancer. In this reading, I've noticed that there's some synchronicity that's happening, because this Fool card has shown up before, okay, in other readings for other signs in the same position. And this Ace of Cups card has shown up before in other signs in the same position. So statistically, that's actually very, very rare. So it indicates to me, as your reader, Cancer, that there are certain energies that are going above and beyond the capacity for tarot illumination or anybody in our three-dimensional world to handle this stuff or understand this way, as though like tarot illumination is the ultimate authority. Please understand, Cancer, that Tarot Lumination is simply a vehicle, an instrument through which the healing power of love is being transmitted, okay? And these hands are simply tools, okay? And the energy is coming through here. So with this significant other, Cancer, it looks like you're relating to someone who is essentially pouring in love. They are literally going through their own experience of an awakening, of sensing an opportunity in themselves to be this, to be almost like the full. It's such a beautiful card, Cancer. You're so lucky to be relating to this person, whoever this person may be. They are on their own, not say their own cloud, but they're in their own energy field, which is absolutely beautiful, beautiful and profound, where it's all about love on the grand scale, and how love is flowing into their lives and flowing out and throughout their lives, in their environment, in their world around them, in such a way that it's almost overwhelming. It's so hard sometimes for people to understand how much love is out there, the infinite abundance of love. And you're lucky, Cancer, because you're dealing with someone here who has an awareness, and they're coming into their own understanding that they are literally the embodiment of love. They are a carrier, they are an instrument of love and healing, and that in some way or other, they are allowing the healing power of love to flow into their lives and through their body, as though their body is an instrument, and out into the world around them. However they do that, that's their business, okay? That you, Cancer, are extremely fortunate to be relating to this type of other person here. And they see the benefits too, because this is the energy of opportunity. It's sacred opportunity here. This doesn't come around a lot, you know. The Ace of Cups as a significator for like a one-card reading for a person. So for them to have this is kind of a big deal. And it's happening in the context of what may well be a very loving relationship here. We haven't gone into the depths yet in the moment, but it looks like, just as two people relating, you've got something very, very beautiful going on here, Cancer, which is almost kind of putting you on the spot. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to deal with this? There's so much love out there. There's so much love here in my life, and let me do it this way. There's so much love here in my life over there. I almost don't want to do it, don't know what to do with it, but I know I'm extremely fortunate, because this is the most beautiful person I could ever want or have. Now, so I don't know what to say, Cancer. Lucky you. And it's also good news for them, because this wouldn't be happening like for them without the context of the relationship. So it is an indication that this experience that's going on inside with a significant other is happening in the context of the relationship itself. So the relationship is very much really a truly golden opportunity for this person of interest to have their own experience of their own evolution. And remember, Cancer, this is your reading for your love and relationship situation for September. It's not their reading. This is not a couple's reading, okay? It's not like there's you, Cancer, and there's you, the other, sitting across my desk here looking at me, Tarot Lumination. Instead, this is all about you. This is all about you and your relationship with a significant other. And you just seem to be very lucky, Cancer. And yeah, so you might be struggling, trying to figure it out. What the heck is going on here? Because it could almost be overwhelming to have, to literally strike gold, and to have someone like this in your life. It's so valuable, it's almost immeasurable. So I'm very happy for you, Cancer. Let's have a look. Let's have a look deeper inside of you. What's going on? Well, to me, this feels like it's about time. Deep inside of you, you're thinking like, if you've been waiting a very, very long time for this, perhaps lifetimes, where what is happening with you specifically, to be able to relate and encounter with someone in this lifetime now of this much loving nature, it's almost like you deserve it. It's an indication that you might have planted seeds in the past, long ago, maybe even in other lifetimes, where you're starting to see the seeds sprouting now. And the big challenge is like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And you're obviously dealing with it, but deep down inside, there's a part of you which is glowing, really, really glowing, because you, deep down, Cancer, realize the beauty and awesomeness and the love of this other person. And you're more than grateful here. This is like, oh my gosh, this is almost like a dream come true. This is my chance to really have what might be a really beautiful, loving relationship with a significant other. And you may have been expressing that, and you may be starting to express it a little bit more openly because of the passion here in the Wands. But it's still very, very early days here. There's a lot of innocence and naivety here with the Two of Pentacles. And the Three of Wands is an indication that we're still very early on in your evolutionary journey here, Cancer, in the context of a love relationship, love or relationship, or all of that. So it's really quite beautiful. It's really, really beautiful, especially because you have a clear and open landscape in front of you in which anything and everything is possible. So it's almost like overwhelming. What am I going to do with this? How am I going to deal with this? It's like, be careful what you wish for, the dream coming true. Now you've got it. It's almost overwhelming. Almost, but it's not. You're handling it, you're dealing with it, but it's almost overwhelming because deep in your heart, it could almost feel like there's such a flood of love that you've never known, that you might have guessed or suspected or wished for this, or known in theory, in spirit, that it exists. But now that it's actually happening in your life, it's overwhelming. It's like a tidal wave of love in your life now for you, Cancer. And so what do you do with that? Anyway, let's have a look deep inside the other. Oh gosh. Oh, so Cancer, I've got a soft spot for you guys. I have a soft spot for all the signs, honestly, but it goes in waves because I know a lot of Cancerians and Capricorns and Libras and Aries have been dealing with a lot of stuff recently. It's tailing off a bit now, but you've been under so much pressure. And for you, Cancer, it looks like you're dealing with someone who's maybe they've got a hidden wish and desire themselves. In a relationship reading, the Hierophant can often indicate marriage. It can indicate the formalization of a relationship where instead of being like all love, 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 romance, love, 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 romance, oh, I love you, you love me, blah, blah, blah. Let's make this real. Let's formalize this. Let's establish this. Let's carve this out in stone. Let's make it the real deal, and then live the word, so to speak, and then honor the love. It's very, very profound. This is a really profound reading, Cancer. I don't know what is going on in your personal circumstances, but this is a profoundly beautiful reading from my perspective as your reader. If you're not digging this, Cancer, you're not feeling it, please, again, watch your sun, moon, and rising and integrate this into the reading, and maybe it'll make more sense, because it's kind of overwhelming on this side here because you've got so much love available to you, Cancer. It wouldn't surprise me that you're like a little bit shaky and wobbly, trying to figure out what to do with it, trying to hold yourself together as this caliber of love appears in your life, to the point where they are totally there for you because they totally feel it for themselves, okay? And that's allowing them to feel extremely liberated when it comes to matters of the heart, to the point where it's just like, this is what they might have always wanted as well, deep down inside. Something like the real deal, the actual real deal, where you can lock it down and do it in a way that, with the Hierophant here, it's a very formal, do it in the very old-fashioned traditional way, where you, Cancer, you make eventually, once you've got the courage and you live through this and you start to come through September and you get a fuller, stronger grasp of what's happening to you, Cancer, and you get a full understanding of how incredibly important and profound this is for you, Cancer, and how incredibly, incredibly lucky you are, Cancer, to have this potential here. I'm not saying you've got it, but you've got the potential here, because deep inside it looks like they very, very much want to be with you. Uh, no matter if you're struggling, no matter if you're a little bit like unevolved and there's still a lot of evolving to do for yourself, Cancer, it's like they've already made up their mind. They're already totally on board, and they're just living through their own version of the relationship themselves, okay? So, wow. Okay, I'm happy for you, Cancer. And also with the Hierophant here, it, it would be an indication that if they are feeling this way about you, they are feeling this way about themselves. That means there's so much sense of stability and confidence in themselves about what they are experiencing themselves in the context of the relationship, that these cards would not show up otherwise. Okay, so it's there. This is on the surface, which is evident, and this is deep down, which is like, okay, we're going to make this real. In other words, let's make this a real relationship. We don't know what is these cards yet, but we're going to look in a little while and find out, see what happens. Let's just look now, okay? Whoa. So, okay, here's my first impression, okay, Cancer? My first impression is that you are literally divinely guided, divinely blessed, and that no matter how much struggle this is, what I'm doing is I'm relating the imagery here very closely with the Two of Pentacles, very closely to the Two of Cups here that are on the hands and the arms of this guardian angel. This is more than a guardian angel. This is almost like the energy of heaven all squashed into one angel, instead of a whole ensemble of angels. This is the real deal. So what can happen here is that it feels to me that you, Cancer, have you've struck gold, and it's very disorienting for you, and you're dealing with it, and deep down you know that you probably deserve this and you want this, but now that you're actually getting it and it's happening, it can be a little bit destabilizing. But here with the Temperance card, my feeling is that this is a very beautiful relationship, which is divinely blessed from above. I mean, just look at this energy here, just with the other party. I mean, oh, my feeling is an indication that there is a lot of love here in the relationship, and it's also a very profoundly healing relationship for yourself and for another. There's no indication of whatever is going wrong or deep inside you, what was happening with you, Cancer, or another, but there is a recognition between yourself and the significant other that there is something of profound value here, profound beauty, profound love, that they deep down inside would be thinking of this and feeling this in a very formalized, very like a fated way. Because with these, I don't like to use the word fated too much, but it is a word that it's very easy for a lot of people to understand. When you say, oh, it's fated, that means like, oh, it wasn't anything to do with me, it just happened because it happened and is ordained from heaven above. Well, I'm almost feeling that's kind of how it is. It's almost like you guys have been chosen, or you have chosen each other, perhaps in the past or other lifetimes, to figure something out in this lifetime where it's the real deal. It would be very hard for a lot of people or anybody to have this kind of spread in any kind of lifetime, because there's so much love here, and it's in such a classic traditional form. We don't know how it's going to turn out. I mean, we don't know the details. That's up to you, Cancer. But the indication is that this is a very beautifully, divinely blessed, almost a divinely ordained relationship that's very, very much about healing of self, healing of other. In other words, it's almost the embodiment of what I think of the healing power of love, where both parties understand that by coming together and formalizing a relationship, creating a crucible structure which is strong and durable, you actually have an environment in which a tremendous amount of love and healing can blossom and grow, to the point where the relationship itself becomes the embodiment of love and healing. And that can be a bit of a responsibility, frankly, because I know this card looks so beautiful on first glance, but a lot of people might not be aware that it's incredibly hard to handle the alchemical processes that go on inside uh, a situation or a person or a relationship in order to create this sense of peace and harmony and love and balance. What it means is a tremendous amount of surrender to uh, the higher energies, the higher power, so to speak, the love, the true love, the healing power of love, as opposed to what the ego wants. In other words, instead of you, Cancer, saying, I love you, what can I get out of you? You look really awesome. And they're going like, well, I've got a lot of love, but you look kind of mixed up and wobbly. I still kind of like you, but what can I get out of you while this is happening? No, we're on a much more mature, higher vibration frequency here, Cancer. And in that context, you are in a situation where it's like, with this card here, the Three of Wands, an indication like we're setting off on a whole new journey of something you might have hoped and prayed and wished for, and now that it's happening, it's, oh my gosh, oh my God, this is actually happening. What am I going to do? And of course, you don't have to have all the answers right now, Cancer, because you got this, okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're totally blessed. It's almost like this person is like some kind of angelic being who's actually literally fallen into your life, maybe because you wish for it, you deserve that, and now they're here, and now you have something absolutely beautiful and profound. And it's up to you now. How are you going to deal with this? How are you going to handle this? Let's have a look where things go. Okay. So you're being challenged. You're being really called out here, Cancer, with the Five of Wands. It's like this whole relationship is really putting you through your paces, like you've never ever had to do this before. And it could be affecting them as well, because as much as beautiful as this energy may be here in the context of relationship, and they might be a very deeply loving person who is very ready, willing, and able to receive a lot of love from you, but they can also have a lot of love to offer you in the context of this very beautiful, loving, healing relationship. And from their perspective, it would be like, okay, let's do this. But for them, let's do this is the old-fashioned way, you know, do it in steps. I don't want to get too far deep into that, but I think you guys know what we're talking about here. So in that context, knowing, not feeling or trusting or hoping, knowing that you have this profoundly beautiful relationship, which is more or less divinely ordained, it's like you're really on the spot now because, yeah, you might have wished for this and you're struggling to figure out how to handle it, but the relationship now puts you in a position where the relationship becomes a massive playground, a massive playground where both parties can like act it out, so to speak. In other words, you know, like in sports or athletics or fighting or any kind of competitive thing where you're not actually trying to obliterate the other party. It's fun. You know, the whole idea of sports is fun. Like, it's actually fun to be in a loving relationship. It's exciting, it's fun, it's rewarding, it's very satisfying because you get to discover yourself. I mean, sometimes like in the sport of life, we don't really discover who we are until we really engage very closely and intimate with others to find out our own strengths and weaknesses. That's why we push ourselves. That's why we challenge ourselves, because it's fun and it's exciting to like to test ourselves. That's how we grow. So we go through growing pains by challenging ourselves. Now, in the context of this relationship, it feels to me, Cancer, that you are in for a very exciting time where you are going to be really, let's say, challenged to be your most ultimate self, because you've got so much support here. And of course, they're benefiting too, because they're part of this. And so it's a very healing. In other words, the more and more you get into this, Cancer, the more and more you figure out step by tiny little step, decision by tiny decision about what to do and how to do it in practical terms. How am I, Cancer, going to deal with all this love in my life now that is so profoundly healing and beneficial? It's what I wanted, it's what I deserved, and it's happening, but oh my gosh, I had no idea it was going to be such a big deal. And the only way to handle it, moving on through September, is, you know what, say, bring it on. We're going to have fun doing this, and it's going to be exciting and wild, crazy ride. And I have no idea what's going to happen, but Cancer, you're doing it, and you're going to let it happen, and it's going to be fun, fun, fun as you deliberately engage with this significant other here, this person of interest. It's going to spark a lot of fun and excitement, which would probably kindle the relationship to greater love so that it feeds on itself. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Cancer, I'm going to leave it at that before I talk too much and spoil it. Sometimes I get carried away. So I hope you get something out of this, Cancer. To me, it's a very beautiful reading. And if it does not feel that way for you, please try and really see it from a higher perspective. And also, watch for your sun, moon, and rising, and allow for the eclipse energies too. And then mush it all together into one bigger story. Okay, Cancer? Have a super September. Make the best of it. Thank you so much for coming to Tarot Lumination. Bye-bye.